In this tutorial, we'll take a look at tags, what they are, and how you can use them to make your mod compatible with many other mods. Let's see how that works. So despite what is on the thumbnail, we're actually not talking about name tags, but tags in terms of data packs. As an overview, tags are basically a collection or a set of different objects, in our case blocks and items, which are somehow related to each other. So for example, even though there are different types of fences, they can still all be linked together, and that is because they all share the fences tag. For a bit of a more in-depth idea, I will link 3 links. One of them is going to be the Forge docs. These are the official documentation of Forge, specifically the tags. Also a Minecraft fandom wiki article. This basically has the entire list of tags in it that are added by Minecraft. And then last but not least, also basically a list of tags from Forge, so the tags that Forge adds, which are here inside of this GitHub repository under tags. So those are the block tags, fluid tags, and item tags all in there. So those links can be found in the description below. Now the first question comes in, why do we even want to add our own tags to the game? Well, if we take a look at the Firestone, our advanced item that we implemented a couple of tutorials ago, we can think about it like this. We had a method made, this block is valid for resistance method, that basically checks whether or not a certain block state, a clicked block, is obsidian. And I said that you can expand this by using the OR operator, or if you have a much larger list of blocks, then you could also use a set. Now what we're actually going to use is we're going to use tags. So first of all, we're going to make a custom tag, and what this will basically open up is a whole bunch of extendability, not only for ourselves, but also for mod pack and data pack creators. We'll first of all create a new class that will basically hold our tags so that we can reference them inside of the code, and then later we will add the folder structure under our data folder, but first of all, the coding. Inside of the tutorial mod package, we will add a new package called util. Now this doesn't necessarily need to be util. I've seen the tags under common and then tags, or I've seen them under data and then tags. We're going to put them into util. Once again, the actual structure of your code very much depends on how you want to work. So a new Java class in here, and this is going to be called tutorial tags. In this tutorial tags class, we will create public static class blocks. So we now have a static blocks class inside of this tutorial tags class. That's not an issue. You can have classes inside of other classes. And then what we need is a private static method that returns tags.iOptional named tag of type block. Now, very important that this is, once again, when we import this net Minecraft block, and this is going to be called create tag with a string name parameter, and this is going to return block tags dot create optional, and then we will pass a new resource location with our tutorial mod.mod ID and the name, the parameter name. This will create a custom tag that will be under our tutorial mod ID namespace, but we might also want to create a new tag under the Forge namespace, and for that we will copy this method right here, so Control-C, Control-V, and then we will call this create a Forge tag, and then instead of passing our own mod ID, we will simply pass in Forge. And that's all that we need for the block tags. We will now copy the entire class and paste it in, and then we will rename this to items, and then instead of returning type block, we will return type item, and the same down here. Now we will get an error because this needs to be item tags instead of block tags, so simply put item tags in, import it, and then item tags here as well, and there we go. Like always, everything is available for download as well. So now let's add our tag that we want to add. This is done in the static blocks class here, and we will create a public static final, and then tags.iOptional named tag of type block. And this is the Firestone underscore clickable underscore blocks. And this is equal to create tag Firestone underscore clickable underscore blocks. There you go. Now let's actually add a reference to this in the Firestone. So instead of checking whether or not this is obsidian, we'll check clickblock.isIn. And then as you can see, this takes in I tag, and then we can say tutorial tags.blocks. Firestone clickable blocks. Where are those saved? Right, we haven't defined any blocks. Well, we define those in the data folder. So under data, tutorial mod, we will create a new directory called tags. And inside of that directory, another directory called blocks. In this case, very important that this is plural in this case. And then a file, firestone underscore clickable underscore blocks.json. The name of this file is, of course, referencing here, right? So this name and the name of the file have to match. As for the contents of the JSON file, it is very easy. We simply have, once again, the curly brackets and then a replace, which we're going to set to false, and then some values which is going to be a list. So this is the normal brackets. And then here we basically define a few blocks. So for example, we can define Minecraft Obsidian, and then all of a sudden we would have the normal functioning that we had before with only the obsidian. How about we add some more? So let's copy this, Control C, Control V a few times, and then let's also add netherrack to it. And then why not? Let's also add tutorial mod firestone underscore block. So now if I right click any of those blocks with the firestone, I will have a chance to get fire resistance from it. Let's see if that worked. All right, we find ourselves in Minecraft, and let's just right click a few times to see whether or not we are gaining fire resistance. And as you can see, I've gained fire resistance from the netherrack, and there you go, from the firestone block as well. And then here, just trying this with the obsidian, and there we go, it worked as well. And if I keep right clicking on the stone, as you can see, it does nothing. As you can see, this has worked perfectly, and the great thing is that it is easily expandable, so we can simply add new values here in the Firestone clickable blocks JSON, and it will immediately work. You can, for example, have custom data packs. This is sometimes important for different mod packs, so your compatibility definitely increases just with this, but there's one more thing that we can do with tags that increases the compatibility to an even bigger degree. So for example, you might have played a few mod packs where multiple mods have added copper to the game, and what you might have realized is that you can take either of those copper ingots and use them for either of the crafting recipes. How does that work? Well, that works with tags. And we're gonna make the same idea here with our amethyst. So if anyone would use the tutorial mod in their mod pack and have a different mod that also adds amethyst, then what we want is that they can also use the amethyst from the other mod to craft our recipes, and hopefully, if the person developing the other mod has also done it with the tags, then they could also use our amethyst to craft their items. Let's just first of all make a new tag in our items here. This is a public static final tags.I optional named tag of type item. There you go. And this is the amethyst equal to create not tag, but forge tag. And this is gems/amethyst. So this gems is sort of given by forge. This is sort of a convention. So if you add new ingots, you would do ingots / and then whatever your ingot is, copper ingot, for example, copper underscore ingot. In this case, an amethyst is of course a gem. So we would do it like this. Now we would actually not really need this tag inside of the code, but maybe we want this later down the line at some point. So it's better to add this. Then you also know, okay, which tags do I have and which do I not. It's just a good way to do this, even though we're right now not using this tag, at least not in the code. However, we will use it in the data folder. Now, instead of going to the tutorial mod, the tags folder, we will actually create a new folder in the data folder. That is going to be the forge folder, because we have created a forge tag under the forge namespace, so we need to use the forge namespace and not our namespace, the tutorial mod namespace. So in the forge folder, new directory tags, and then a new directory items, and then another directory gems. And then finally inside of here, we can create a new file called the amethyst.json. Just for ease, we will copy this over here, and then we will replace this with the amethyst. And that's actually how easy it is. Now, what can we use this for? Why would we use this? Well, let's go to our recipes and, for example, our amethyst ore that we've created. So instead of actually defining an item, we can also define a tag here, and then we can use the forge : gems/amethyst tag. And now we have basically made this recipe compatible with any other mod that also adds amethyst gems to Minecraft. As long as they also use this tag, their amethysts could be used for the same recipe. And just to show you that it still works, there you go, it still works. And now if we had another mod that adds amethyst, we could also craft the amethyst ore with that. So you gotta admit that that's pretty cool, all things considered. And the reason why you want to use tags most of the time that you can use them, simply because of the fact that this really does add compatibility to your mod. So mod pack creators might have an easier time to get better compatibility between mods, and they don't have to do as much work as they might otherwise need to do. So this very well might increase the chance of your mod actually being picked up by a mod pack, simply because the compatibility is there and they don't have to do that much extra work. So that's one thing that you can keep in mind. While we are done with the tutorial, we are not done with tags just yet, because in the upcoming tutorials, we will actually need to use tags for fences and stairs as well. All those things require tags from the Minecraft namespace in that case, but we will see that in the upcoming videos. And that was it for this tutorial right here. I hope you found this useful and you learned something new. I would, of course, really appreciate a like if you did, and I will see you next time. So, yeah.